Okay, so these, at the top of this up here where I had you looking through it, this is really all stuff we talked about yesterday. What are the parts of the slope formula? How do we read them? How do we understand what all these pieces, because there's like several variables, there are several things happening in the slope formula. How do we understand and how do we read that m equals? And oftentimes students want to go like this, they want to say y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. But what is the subscripting really doing? You remember what I said yesterday? What is the subscripting doing? Why did they say y sub 2 take away y sub 1? And why do they say x sub 2 take away x sub 1? Rose?
To identify the different points.
Yeah, because each point has its own x and its own y, doesn't it? Every point has its own x and its own y, so we're saying we got to identify which point are we talking about. So when there's a sub 2 for the x and the y, we're saying, oh, I named that point 2. And then when there's a sub 1 for x and for y, we're saying, oh, those are the x and the y value from the point I called point 1. Kind of like we identified which one was going to be which point. Okay, so let's look at this table. It says answer questions 1 through 6 using the table. So how many points would we have if we were going to graph this right now? How many points would we have to put on the graph? Right?
5.
5 of them. We really actually have 5 points here to put on the graph. How many points do we use in the slope formula? How many points do we actually use in the slope formula? Brighton? Just 2. Does it matter which 2? No, you get to pick, don't you? You get to pick. Okay, well, they're going to ask us some questions, though. It says, if you use negative 2 to represent x sub 1, then what's going to be your y sub 1 values? Everybody make a decision here. Put something down there, number 1. If you use negative 2 to represent x sub 1, what would you use for y sub 1? Answer it. Okay, who wants to offer up? What are we going to use for y sub 1 if negative 2 is x sub 1? Dakota?
Use 4.
We would use 4. Yeah, we would use 4 because why?
It's right underneath it.
Yeah, it's right underneath it. They're an ordered pair, aren't they? They're together. Negative 2 and 4. So if we say, okay, you're going to be my first point, it's kind of like saying, I'm going to let you be my first point. Okay, choose a different point to represent x sub 2, y sub 2. Okay, now you get to pick whatever point you want. I'm not going to tell you which one to pick right now, and I don't want you to even worry about what your table partner is doing. You pick another point that's going to be x sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2 from that table. Write it down right here. What are you going to let be your x sub 2, y sub 2? And then you're going to come down here and you're going to say, okay, my first ordered pair, negative 2, 4, that is my x sub 1, y sub 1, and then whatever I picked here, that's going to be my x sub 2, y sub 2, and then you're going to calculate the slope. You're going to go m equals, and you're going to substitute into our slope formula. We're going to see if we all can come up with the same answer, because we should. Remember, we're going to simplify if we can. So if we can divide out to an integer, divide it out to an integer. If we can't divide out to an integer, simplify it as a fraction. Okay, so anybody done and want to offer up what they got for slope? Everybody should finish. Just because somebody else is done and they're offering up doesn't mean you stop. So Stefan, what do you want to say the slope is?
2.
You got 2. Okay, anybody in agreement with Stefan that you got 2? A couple of takers. Okay, what's another choice then? Somebody get something else? Dakota, what'd you get?
I got negative 6.
You got negative what?
Negative 6 over negative 5.
Negative 6/5. Okay. Anybody want to take that one? Okay, you do. Okay. Any get another one yet? Anybody get another one yet? Right?
Negative 2.
You got negative 2, not positive 2. Okay. Anybody agree with right? It's negative 2 instead. Okay. Another one yet? Anybody got another one yet? Trey?
I got negative 6 on the bottom.
Negative 6 over,
1.
which would simplify to
Negative 1.
negative 6 over negative 1.
Negative 6. No, positive 6.
Positive 6 over negative 1, and now, so what would that simplify to?
6.
Negative 6, wouldn't it? Huh? Okay, so negative 6 now we have also. Okay, we get takers for that? Got another one yet?
Positive 6 over 5.
You got positive 6 over 5. Wow, we got all kinds of choices here, don't we? Well, it can only be one.
Okay, I did that wrong. So you can go and do this one.
Oh, you're going to ditch yours? Did anybody else want Dakota's though? Because if they want Dakota's, which one was it again? Negative 6/5?
Negative 6.
Somebody else have Dakota's? Because he... Okay, well, you know what? This line can only have one slope. And it should not, all these points are on the same line. In fact, let's make sure they are. Maybe there's just a problem with these really aren't all on a line. Maybe that's the issue. So let me come over here and graph those for us really quick. Negative 3, 2, you guys help me out and tell me what the order of pairs are. So my first one is negative 3, 2. Okay, give me another one.
Negative 2, 4.
Negative 2, 4. Okay.
Negative 1, 6.
Negative 1, 6. Okay.
0,
0, 8. 1, 10. Okay, that will be here. Ooh, those look like they line up in a straight line, don't they? There can only be one slope. Well, hey, you guys look at here. They're climbing from left to right, so does the slope have, can the slope be negative?
No.
No, so we're going to ditch any negative slopes up there right now, don't we? We can't have a negative slope. Those points are rising from left to right. So now we're going to have to say, okay, well, we're going to go with one that's a positive. Hey, let's use the counting method since we have it over here. We'll see who's right. Okay, you ready? I can pick any, we'll go with the 2 points at least one of the points that they gave us, that negative 2, 4. I'm going to start here, and I'm going to go to that point, okay? Negative 2, 4. I have to go up 2 and over 1 to the right. So that'd be positive 2 over positive 1, which simplifies to what?
2.
2. Slope must be 2. So we're going to have to go with the very first answer that we got over here. I don't even remember who gave it to me anymore, but the slope of this line is 2. Okay, you need to, right now, you need to figure out where to make your mistake. You didn't get m equals 2, you don't get to move on. Those of you who did, now you're going to pick, you're ready to move on, you're going to pick 2 other points. You have to pick 2 completely different points and do numbers 4 and 5. Okay? So after you find your mistake, you actually literally find it and legitimately get a positive 2 slope. Then you can move on to using 2 more points. And I'm going to do one on here just so there's one here for the note recording.
Okay. I do my points. We should do that.
legitimately get the answer. Don't pretend this chapter is too hard for that. You can't pretend you want to do it. So hand up if you have a question, need some help. And then if you're ready, you can answer number 6.
This is negative. And this is negative. So 2 negatives.
And
I think 2 more.
0 plus 2. Yeah, that's Okay, good hands up if you can't make it happen, because we got to be able to do this stuff. Okay, and then what are we going to answer for number 6? What is true about the slopes you found in 3 and 5? They're both positive. What else?
No, 2.
They're both 2. They are exactly the same. Why?
Both on the same axis.
They're both, you used points from the same line both times, didn't you? You used points from the same line both times. How many points does any line have on it, by the way? An infinite number, yeah. There's an infinite number of points on a line, so you can pick any 2 you want on that line, no matter how close they are together or how far apart. We should always get the same slope. So because all points are on the same line, so that line has only, and I should say not so, and that line can only have one slope. It can't be, it's not like those line segments we did when we did rate of change, and we had different rates of change. A line has the same rate of change between any 2 points. Okay. So it doesn't matter which point we pick, you and I better get the same slope when we're talking about the same line, right? Okay, so anybody have any units that needs to be cleared up on this side before we move on? Okay, then what I want you to do is, if you're ready, you can go to the back side, and I want you to use like just like it says use the graph to complete questions 7 through 10. Okay, so they have 2 points actually plotted on that line, even though we know that line has an infinite number of points. They have picked out 2 points, plotted them with dots on it. What they want you to do first of all, number 7, is give the ordered pair names for those. So let's start there. Give the ordered pair names in number 7. So I will, with color, I will show you if they're too small for you to see. They've already plotted these 2 points, and they want you to name them. I want you to name those points in number 7. Okay, so the first point started moving across the graph from left to right that's plotted. What's the first point's name? Stefan?
Negative 4, 1.
Negative 4, 1, okay. And moving across the graph now, what's the other point that is plotted? What's its name? Isaac?
6, 5.
6, 5, ordered pair 6, 5, okay. Now, we're not even going to find the slope yet. We're just going to answer this next question. Considering the behavior of the line, what should you expect of the slope and why?
Positives.
So, Riley,
Positive slope.
we should expect it to have positive slope. Why? Finish it for us. Why? Because the line is
Rising.
rising, yeah, from left to right. Okay, so we're going to answer this one. We're saying, you know what, when we're all done with this one, we better get positive slope. What should you expect of the slope? The slope should be positive. Because, here's the and y part, we're talking about the behavior of the line. We say, oh, well, because of its behavior, we think the slope should be positive because it is rising from left to right. And we're always going to make that connection when we have the opportunity. We're not just finding an answer to make the math teacher happy. I'm pretty sure that if you, how many of you ski on snow and not slopes? Anybody do that? Anybody? You know, we live in Valley City, North Dakota, we probably don't do much of it as somebody who lives somewhere closer to hills and mountains and stuff. But I'm pretty sure that if you were a snow skier and you had the choice and you were just learning, and somebody said, which slope do you want to go down? You would know which one you'd want to go down by its steepness, wouldn't you? You'd be like, not that one. And you have to look down too fast. But when you see one that's more gradual go down, you'd be like, oh, I'll take that one. It looks safer for right now because I haven't really done a whole lot of this. So we can talk about slope, its behavior, what's going on with it. So now we're going to find the slope of the line. Okay? So let's do this together because I want to make sure that everyone is really doing it correctly. Let's take ordered pair -4, 1, and let's call it our x sub 1, y sub 1, or however you're identifying it, but you need to identify it. I'm going to call that point 1, and the other point is point 2. And we're just going to put a little review here for ourselves. What is the slope formula? Because we should have it memorized hopefully soon, if not already. So m represents slope. M equals, what's upstairs? Mia?
Y2
Y sub 2?
minus Y1
Y sub 1
y sub 2
over?
x sub 2
Yeah. Minus?
x sub 1.
There we go. There's our slope formula. Just get that ingrained. We're going to use it a lot. So now we will substitute into it. Now we'll say, oh, okay, now I'm ready to put my things in that are going to help me get the slope. So what's going in for y sub 2, class?
5.
Or Isaac? What's going in for y sub 1, class?
1
1. What's going in for x sub 2, class? 6. And what's going in for x sub 1?
-4.
-4. Does that subtraction sign take the place of that negative sign?
No.
No. No. Now we are going to say, okay, no reason to make the numerator friendlier because 5 take away 1, that's a piece of work. Or that's a piece of cake to do, I mean. What's 5 take away 1?
4.
4. But I'm going to rename the denominator. I'm going to say it can be changed to add the opposite, so it's going to become 6 plus the opposite of -4.
4.
4. Yeah. So we're going to get m equals 4 over 10. How are you feeling about that? Should we leave our answer there?
No.
Right?
No.
What are we going to do?
Simplify down to 2/5.
We're going to make it 2/5. Yeah, there's our slope right there, 2/5. Okay, now go back up to that line and see if, I want you to do the counting method and see if that's what you get. Go back up to that line, use the counting method and see if you get 2/5 for a slope. Everybody, go on back up to the graph above number 7. Use the counting method, the rise over run, and simplify that and see if we get the same answer as we did algebraically. Or in other words, do you have to rise 4,
Yes.
or -4, it can be one or the other. And did you have to run 10 or run -10? Doesn't matter. So if you rose 4, then you went 10 to the right. If you started with this one and went down 4, then you went 10 to the left. And notice, that's what happened here. Look at our, don't we have that rise over run right here?
Yes.
Yeah. So algebraically, it's just really doing the same thing. It's counting, but it's doing it without the graph for us. Okay, and then it says, plot ordered pair 1, 3 on the line and use it along with one of the other points to determine the slope of the line. You get one more chance to show me you know how to do this right. So it says plot ordered pair 1, 3 on the line. When you can show me you can do this right, you're ready to start on your homework, okay? So plot ordered pair 1, 3, that would be this point right there. Use this point, and you have a choice of either using this point or this point with it. So this one for sure has to be used, this one for sure, and then you pick one of the other ones. Not using the counting method, using this little formula method. Okay, so I want everybody, and when you are done with it, your hands up, you show me that you know what you're doing, and when you can show me that you know what you're doing, you get to go to work on your homework.